We're live. It is I. It is me. Albeit we are here. Albeit a little late, but we're here. It's 11:44. Lucky number 11 and a multiple of 11. We are here. We are here. We are here. Nathan, Heike, Reese, Doro, everybody please do join. Welcome to all our old friends. Welcome to all our new friends. Hopefully we will see many of you joining here tonight. As I welcome you here, I was gonna say Baji is there, but currently he is not. He is upstairs, and I just took a shower, and my hair is very big, like present everywhere. Welcome North America, South America, Asia, Africa, Europe, Antarctica, the Arctic Ocean, all of the oceans, all of the islands. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. I do hope that you're joining. If I missed a continent, Asia, I don't know if I said that one. I'm kind of seeing the map in my head. North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, New Zealand, Antarctica in the bottom. And I want to do a special call out for Argentina and Brazil today. If you're going to be joining, welcome Argentina and welcome Brazil. How are you? We're here. We're here. And before I forget, as usual, I'm going to share the live. How about that? I will share the live and I will give you shout outs as you join and as you write down your messages. And I will read your comments and I will see your usernames and I will shout you out. So let the fun begin. And if I missed you and you're already in bed, well, it's so sad and too bad. And I will see you tomorrow. And hopefully you will leave us comments here under the video upload for this live stream when you do see it later on. There's a lot of bright lights on. So I'm like looking at my face and realizing that it's kind of reflecting a lot. Hello. Hello. How are you doing? Hi. How are you doing? Welcome. Let me share. I'm good. Hi, Kanan. Kanan Armis is saying hello. Hello, Kanan. Is that... What country is that? Is that Turkey? You have to tell me the country. I don't recognize all of the flags, unfortunately. King Jemmy is saying good, how are you? I'm good, how are you? Hello, King. Anybody else want to do a shout out? And wants to do a comment so I can shout you out. And then also Istanbul. Oh my goodness. I think I got it. It's Turkey. Yay. Welcome, Istanbul. Welcome. Hi, Kanan. Hi, King. Hello, Yaldosh Uranov. Yuldosh Uranov says hello. Uzbekistan. Oh my goodness. Welcome, Uzbekistan. Visionary Demand says what's up. Visionary says Canada. Wow, we have Istanbul, we have Uzbekistan, and we have Canada in the house. Goodness, who else is here? And do you want to say your country? Or your town, or your city, or whatever you feel comfortable with. You can even say the continent, and we'd be fine with that. So, Uzbekistan, is that a very pretty country? Tell us more about Uzbekistan if you don't mind sharing, Yuldosh. That would be most excellent. Visionary says Canada. Holly says you're so pretty. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Holly. Snuggie says Canada here as well. Oh my gosh, Canada in the house. Wow. Welcome, Canada. Muhammad Ali Duman says Turkey. Wow. Turkey again. We have more than one person from Turkey. Goodness gracious, that's amazing. Toronto, Visionary. Holly says Toodle. Snuggie says vision, same lol. Toronto. Oh my goodness, welcome Toronto. Toga says hi. Hello, Toga. Don Tavia says, why are you trying to get people's home locations? I am not. I'm simply saying you can share it if you'd like, most optionally. Thank you for liking the live. Visionary says EYY. Hi, just got here. Hi, Toga. Toga says you're so pretty. Thank you. Can you please like the live? Can everybody please like the live? That would be most beneficial. That would be most appreciated. Dontivius, oop, sant, gimme that sass girl. As I was paying, I'm from America. Okay, Dontivius. Good for you. Toga says, I liked before I got here. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, if you're from Asia, raise your hand. If you're from Europe, raise 2 hands. If you're from Africa, raise 3 hands. If you're from South America, give me a heart. If you're from Antarctica, give me a blue heart. If you're from North America, don't have to say from where. Could be Canada, could be US, could be, you know, whatever you want to say. You can just say it. Or you can do the high sign, the high emoji. Ooh, I love that red heart I just got. If you're from, did I already do Asia? I love it. I love it. I love it. What a responsive chat. I love it. Oh, how nice. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Dantavius, Visionary, Snuggies. Wow, I love these high signs that I'm getting. What about Asia? NATO is right here. The North Atlantic Treaty. Do you speak Turkish? Not really. Let's see. Is there merhaba? How about that? Is that something? Hello, maybe in Turkish. Merhaba. And if I did not do that right, please do correct me. I'll try to learn it. I would love to learn a few words in Turkish. Visionary says, nah, she doesn't. I'm from North America and moved to South America and then back to North America. Oh my gosh. So give me whatever I said. Oh my God. I see the raise your hand. I love it. So you're from North America and moved to South America and then back to North. So you're doing the raise your hand. Raise your hand if you want garlic chicken, that type of raise your hand from South America. I only have 22 subs. Okay, Visionary Demand. Toga, I love what you just shared. All your North America to South America transition and back. If you would like, you can share a few more words about that. That sounds very interesting. Thank you, Mohammed. So by the way, Mohammed, are you going to teach me a few more words in Turkish than what I currently know? Because that would be most appreciated. Everybody, thank you so much for saying all your countries and all your region area. I'm going back up to see if I miss anybody. Sorry if I missed you, but thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. My real account has BKDK has like 82. My grandma is from the Philippines. Oh my gosh. So did I do Asia? If you are from Asia and you're joining, do a pink heart. So your grandmother can do a pink heart. I'm a join on my account with subscribers. Thank you. I know how to speak Tagalog. Okay, wow. I can't understand because I don't know English well. Oh, sorry, Mohammed. Well, I know Hindi, Urdu, Bengali. I don't know if you know any of those languages because I could try those. Visionary says, yay! Visionary says pink heart and a high sign for the North America and the Asia. I dragged this girl's weave off her dirty scalp at school today. Your grandmother's? Oh my goodness. I'll speak Tagalog. Mayong Haspon Magatao. Wow. I don't know what that means. You should tell us, Visionary Demand. So, before I forget, as per usual, let me share the live. Oh, did someone text me? What is this? Oh, these are my old texts. This is my old phone, so sometimes I see my older texts on here, and they have not updated. Did you know that this Dontavia says, should I clock her again? It means, should I clock her again? I'll drag her. Oh my gosh, are you dragging your grandmother? Is she letting you do that? I am quite surprised. Can you please like the live if you're joining, by the way? Thank you. El Challen, how are you? Hello, my friend. El Challen, how are you doing? So we're going to talk about time travel today, by the way, guys. If you're ready, in like a few minutes, we're going to start the topic of the day, which is going to be time travel from the book Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking. This is going to be the physics part of the live. And thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for liking the live, and thank you so much indeed for joining and sharing all these comments. I love to read them and shout you out, so thank you so much. Good evening, people. It means that good evening, people. Is that what it means? My hair is very rough and tough today. Doing good. What about you, Noise? Hello, El Challen. Okay, so I'm going to share the live finally. I always start to do that and then I forget. So let me notify more people, hopefully, that we have gone live indeed. And so this weekend, I had to call the internet company to remember how I was trying to... El Challen was here when I was doing this. Remember how I was trying to get my internet to sort of let me like change the plan and stuff, because oh, it's just like nature. But my other phone, which is my phone that you guys are currently on, has my children on it who are cats. Are you Muslim? I am not. What's your home screen on your phone like? Oh my god, I have water in my ears. I'm sorry, guys. From the shower. The cult company. Yes, the internet company. I'm dragging my OP at school, not my grandma. OPP. PPAP. Are you Muslim? So what is PPAP? Visionary. It's pretty. What's pretty? Oh, the nature, are you a trapper? You have two phones. Well, this is my old one which broke and it doesn't quite fully work, but I kept it because then I can have another device for like content and whatnot. But yeah. Pen, pineapple, apple, pen. OPP is like an enemy. Oh, so you want to drag your enemy at school. I see. Which grade are you in, Dontavias? So by the way, I want to finish my story real quick. Yeah, the background. Oh, awesome. Born in 2004. So Visionary Demand is telling us when they were born. You don't have to tell us when you were born. Telling us where you're from is probably enough information. We don't want to reveal our more, details in the chat. But I guess 2004 is pretty general. Lots of things happened in that year. So sure, go ahead. And it is pretty recent. So congratulations to you being born in 2004. It's a good year, I am sure. Even number. Can you please like the live as I share my live here? I can't say my grade. The OPPs can't catch me lacking. I see. Okay, well, I'm going to guess that you're in 5th grade. That's a grade that I often get on my channel. Visionary Demand says n to the 0. I should go full geography mode. You should. You should share more and more about geography. So by the way, I called the internet company and I got them to, I'm not in 5th grade. Aw, are you in 8th grade? 6th grade? So I called them, and at first they were making my life very, very difficult. El Challen was here and I was not able to change my internet plan very easily or at all. And then my plan just everything became slow and it was hardly working. Then I called them and they gave me this extra phone line that then I had to call them again today to cancel because it was a mistake and an accident that they were going to charge me extra for. And anyways, so I've been having fun with this company called Xfinity, which provides our internet here. But, and why I'm mentioning that is because I'm having to reset my internet on this other phone as I speak. All of my devices are kind of messed up because of this internet reset. Whew. And, but yeah, thank you everybody for your patience, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining and sharing. I should go full geography mode. I'm not in 5th grade. I wish you good publications. Take care of yourself. Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you so much. You should please do join us again. I can clock Xfinity if you need me to, girl. Bye. Bye, Mohammed. Bye, everybody who is leaving. But if you're staying, thank you so much for staying. And indeed, thank you. And we will continue here. Guess what grade I'm in? What about 4th grade? Are you in 4th grade, BKDK? Is it 4th grade or higher? Okay, I don't know if my Wi-Fi is Wi-Fiing yet on this. I think it is. Once I catch the Wi-Fi. Why do you think we're so young? Grade, my bad. Nope. I don't know. I usually get a lot of people from 4th grade and 5th grade. Okay, I'll guess higher. What about 8th grade? Are you guys in 8th grade? Are you? 8th grade. Higher? 10th grade? I've never had 10th graders. El Chalin, you're not in school, are you? Tenth grade? I generally don't have 10th graders here, but if I do, then I'm extremely honored. Extreme honor right here. Okay, let me share. No, I dropped out in 11th. Aw, there was one more year. 7th grade. So I was close when I said 8th grade. You lied. You said to go higher. Higher than 5th, but but I wanted to be involved. Oh, good. El Chalan, you should definitely be involved. You said higher than 5th grade, and I went to 8th grade. That was too much of a jump. I see. Okay. I see what's going on. Okay. Well, 7th grade, I love having you here. Thank you so much indeed for being here. And please do stay on, and we will talk about time travel today. I posted my post, but it's still stuck. Do me next. Basket of Minx. I wanted to be involved. Do me next. Basket of Minx. I'm gonna guess that you are. Are you in school? I thought you might be an adult. Are you not an adult? Are you in school? I mean, anybody could be in school, so I should keep an open mind. BKDK says, I will stay for sure. Thank you. Basket of Minx says, I'm old, yes. I mean, you don't have to be old. Age is just a number. But Basket of Minx, I think you are done with school. Are you in college? Are you doing life like a job or regular life? Or are you in school? What? The request timed out. Okay, everything is being a little buggy on YouTube. Can someone? Age is not just a number, says Dontavius. What do you mean, Dontavius? Aren't you like in 5th grade? Age is definitely a number for you. El Challen says, I like your hair, no simping. Thank you, El Challen. Done with uni too. Oh, well, basket of minks, congratulations. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. And please do like the live. Can we get 20 likes? I have to restart YouTube because it's being so buggy. Oh my God. Oh, this is crazy. Look at this. It's still thinking. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. If somebody could share the lab, that would be most excellent. I'm just going to start the time travel section of the book. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. BK says Dontavius is so 911. What? You know what? You have a good point, Dontavius. I should say age is just a number after a certain age is crossed. Probably. I said no, and girl, why am I getting attitude? I'll pull that weave right off. Ain't no one in 5th grade. Okay. You're in 7th grade. Got it. Y'all, I'm yapping so hard right now, and you saying age is just a number. I see. Wow. You've taken my words out of context. I think I was saying that to Basket of Minks. And I wanted to encourage young people to appreciate their relative youth, but you've definitely made your point. What matters is how old you feel, which makes me 497. Oh my gosh, you guys are so funny. You guys are so funny. Basket of Minks and Dontavius have made excellent points indeed about age. I feel like I'm 50. Are you 50? I'm coming for you. Wow. Thank you for announcing that. I'm done with this and being called young. So you're not young. You're old. Okay? I could just call you old. Who are you? This is completely insane. Who are you? Who are you? There's a line in a movie. Who are you? El Challen says no 25. No 25. You're 25 and you feel like you're 25 times 2? Combat Sports! Hello! Combat Sports in the house! Combat Sports, do you have a request for me song-wise? Combat Sports requests the best songs. Ben says, have you ever been to the Cosmosphere? Have you ever been to the Cosmosphere? Completely insane. Says, who are you and what do you want with me? Ben's very interesting crowd today. Hi, Combat Sports. Okay, nothing is working with my YouTube sharing. This is so crazy. I don't understand. Oh, I see. It's the wrong one. It's the wrong one. Come on, Wi-Fi. I've been to a black hole and I've escaped as well. In Hutchinson, Ben, are you asking in a Schrumuller way? Does anybody in chat do archery? I don't do archery, but that's a great question. I don't think I've been to Cosmosphere, whatever that means. And wow, there's people who are bonding over it though. I am glad. I'm glad you found a common interest in this chat. Goodness. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for all these excellent, amazing questions that people are asking in the chat and answering with each other. Aww. I love when people find friends. I do. It's pretty fun. Okay. So let me... Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the live. Can you please like the live? And can we get 20 likes? Can I guess what Asian you are? You can... Sure. Go ahead. I shared it. Does it start with I? Why are you being so passive about wherever you think I'm from? Are we going to party or not? We are. The party is in fact started. You look Hispanic or Mexican. Thank you, El Challen. Are you a robot? I am indeed not. I might be the last one that is non-robot here. Korean, Japanese, Indonesian. Are you saying all of the country names of Asia down to VS? Bangladeshi. Wow, good guesses. Thailand, Philippines. No disrespect though. You don't look real. Pakistan. She's a pretty Bollywood actress, Iran. Completely insane says, wow, what? Don Tavia says Iraq. Sneaks in. Steven! Steven, how are you? I don't know, there is no Asian country that starts with Indy. There is no Asian country that starts with Indy? What do you mean? You're too perfect, says Russell. Ray says, what are we doing here? How dare you? I'm not a robot. I'm a chair. I'm offended. You're from India. You're too perfect. You gotta be a robot. Are robots perfect? I didn't know that. I didn't know that robots were so perfect. Are they making them so perfect nowadays? Tired. I was at a doctor's appointment today. Had to do a stress test. Longest 6 minutes too. Oh my gosh. You did a stress test? Oh my goodness. Oh, we have 11:11. Can we get 20 likes? Hello, Steven. Running towards you and waving. Yes. Absolutely. Some old faces and some new faces here. Hi, El Challen. Okay, so who likes time travel as a topic? Because that's what we're going to talk about here. Man, chat is so nice. Like OMG. Thank you, BKDK. BKDK, can you, did you like the live? How did the stars look like in Antarctica? So, when I was in Antarctica, it was daylight 24/7. So you can't see the stars. I was there for the austral summer, which means that the sun is up all the time. I was there from around Halloween to New Year's. So the sun was always up. we would work all day, and then we would maybe go to a bar sometimes. There's only a couple bars at that particular station where I worked. And when you came out at like 2 or 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, the sun was still up. Bro did not go to Arctica. Dante VS, do you know how to spell Antarctica? Or do they not teach that in 5th grade? Ben Kern says, interesting. Wow, how did you get to go there? So I worked on a science project. I worked on a physics experiment in particle astrophysics that happens in Antarctica, that is deployed from Antarctica. Time travel just gives me the ghost bumps. Did you hug a penguin? I did not. So the emperor penguins, when I was there, it was still kind of too early for them, so I did not hug a penguin. Also, you're not allowed to go near the wildlife in Antarctica. You actually sign a treaty to say that you will not disturb the naturally occurring wildlife there, such as go too close to the seals and penguins and things like that. But I would have loved to see one, but I did not. I liked, remember, it's me, Toga, on my real account. Thank you. Everybody, can you please like the live? That would be amazing if we could get 20 likes. Yes, I do. Do you not know how to read? Dontavius, are you a single child? Is that why you need constant attention? El Challen says, getting lost in time, like when Squidward got stuck in time. I don't know what that means. Farthest north I ever got was the Yukon Territory in Canada, but was in Alaska for a week. One night I could see the horizon at 11:30 p.m. In Canada. Ooh, how much is a beer in Antarctica? It's similar to like a bar here. Nothing too different. The food is free there. So when you're working there, the food is covered, but beers do cost money. If you're not a robot, Russell, that's kinda creepy. Penguins also scare me for some reason. BKDK says, I am scared. Oh, gosh, of what? Robot, now I know. Aw. Isn't it true you have to stay there for a year? No. You get your on ice and off ice date depending on the project and depending on the PI of the project. So you might get an on ice date without an off ice date where you would not know once you got there exactly when you would get off the ice. But it depends on the mission that you're on and the project that you're on. Everything is a mission there, so it depends on the mission you're on and the project that you're on. Where are my mods when there's a Joker in town? Where? Dontivius, take a minute. Isn't it true? I told my grandma she was built like a baked bean on steroids. Help me, I'm dead. Oh my gosh. Everybody, can you please like the live? Can we get 20 likes? Dontavius is going to be back in like a minute, screaming and kicking for being timed out for a minute. So let's watch that happening. Is there polar bears there? No. So the polar bears are in the other pole, the North Pole. So polar bears are more of a northern North Pole thing, and penguins are from the South Pole. Be careful, you might get blocked by the mods. Can we please have 20 likes? That would be amazing. Okay. So yeah, what other questions? Oh, also, yeah, the flights that go back and forth from New Zealand to McMurdo, it like depends what your mission is, how long it's going to take, what your PI says how long it's going to take, and you get your off ice date. So like, for example, when I went, I did not have an off ice date, but I was also not expecting to just like winter over there. The people who winter over in Antarctica are sort of a different crew than the people who go there just for the summer. So I was part of more of the summer team and summer crew. Hi, Dontavius. That's quite a long message that you've typed. Are you okay? I remember some years ago a woman was... Oh gosh! El Challenge says BRB. Dontavius! Aww! So mad. Is everything okay with you in the head? How many languages can you speak? Around 3 or 4. English, Hindi, Bengali, Urdu. Were you compensated well for that endeavor? Not really, because I was a grad student. So I just made my same money, like a grad student stipend, that I would normally make. There was no like extra money given to me for that particular endeavor. It was an experience of a lifetime. It was part of my PhD project, and it was, you know, what I had to do to graduate, and it was a big adventure, very exciting. I learned a lot, did a lot. It was a big accomplishment. And the food was free, and the, what's the word? Food and lodge free, you know. But you just work all the time, you work all day. And, you know, it's a shame, Dontavius, that I have to be the one who has to time you out, because usually that's my mods who do that. And today they're not here. I barely speak English. What uni is sending grad students to Antarctica? Well, it depends on the collaborative project you're on. So I was on this project called ANITA, Antarctic Impulsive Transient Antenna, and it's a multi-institution kind of project. So the Ohio State University is on it, University of Hawaii is on it, University of Chicago was on it, you know, all kinds of schools and institutes. So it really depends on the experiment. So there are multiple experiments that happen in Antarctica, and if you're on one of those experiments, and if the school is participating in that experiment, then whatever school that is the one that will be sending you to Antarctica. But really, it was probably more the PI who sent me to Antarctica, and the PI of that project was in University of Hawaii. So really, that person makes the ultimate decision on who goes to Antarctica or not, to help out with the project, to help out with the deployment and the launch and support and experiments and data and all of that. Were you Ivy League? I was not. I did not go to an Ivy League school. I went to NC State University, Ohio State University, and then I worked a bunch of jobs. What's your major? It's physics. So did you go on an expedition or stayed on the sidelines? I don't know what the sidelines mean, so I guess I went on an expedition. I don't know. Can't relate with the sidelines. Anything else? Okay. In the background as support. No, I was there to launch and deploy my project. I was one of the main leads of the project that was getting launched. It was a balloon experiment. Fascinating stuff. I want to go to Antarctica one day. So the people who support sort of the, what's the word? The people who support operations in Antarctica, like the support staff, that's a completely different route. Like, I didn't go there as that. There are ways to get jobs in Antarctica in that way. And if you're interested in finding more, then I would Google NSF polar programs. I believe the office is in Colorado. And they do... what was your GPA in college? I don't remember exactly, but I graduated summa cum laude. I am going to Utah in June to check the stars out. Ooh! I'm going to Utah. Ooh, wow. Utah. Love it. I did not graduate valedictorian, but I did graduate summa cum laude. So it was high, but it wasn't like a perfect 4.0, and I don't remember what it was, and it really doesn't matter too much. So I would say, oh yeah, I was talking about the jobs in Antarctica. If you're interested in a job as a support staff, like somebody who works in the kitchen or the dining or the fuel or power or driving, like those are the support staff kind of people. Those people get jobs through a completely different route that I don't know too much about, but the NSF polar programs would be the place to start with that. I went as a scientist, which is like your project gets a slot for deployment and you get picked because of your contributions in science to go to Antarctica and then proceed and progress that project. So it's a completely different world and route, and you get like a nice dorm as a scientist. So the experience is very different, and also one of more privilege when you go as a scientist. And there's no such thing as sidelines. If you're there for your science, it means you're a lead author of the project that you're deploying. What does that mean, summa cum laude? It's a type of rank for the GPAs. You can look it up. It's summa, S-U-M-A, M-M-A, cum, C-U-M, laude, L-A-U-D-E. What was the biggest nationality there? So I worked at a U.S. base. So I worked at a U.S. base and field camp. So the biggest nationality would be Americans. The nearby base was a Kiwi base, so it was New Zealand. All the countries have different bases there. So it's probably the only Indian there myself, person of Indian origin. But I worked at an American base, so everybody is American other than the people who came over from New Zealand or the Kiwi base nearby. Are you still finishing your PhD? Nope, I have finished my PhD several years ago. Seriously, I'll go up into the mountains around my house to check out the stars. Oh, very nice. I watch too many movies that explore any type of desert is a no for me. I'll go to Hollywood to check the stars out. Really? Are you? Are you going to LA? But yeah, guys, if you want to get a job in Antarctica, whether that's for the summer or the winter, you should definitely check out the Polar Program's website, okay? Batman is here and trolling me. Hello, Batman. Hello, Completely Insane. Hello, El Challen. Hello, my friends. Hate to break it to you. Oh, shut up. What's your favorite sci-fi movie? Interstellar probably comes to mind. You gotta be smart or in college. I am not in college at this time because I've already finished for now. Anyways, I actually went back to take psychology classes at one point. I was in a regular job at one point and it was kind of boring. So I found some time and went back to school to take a few psychology classes. But other than that, most of my education, all of my degrees are in physics. Batman, you are spamming as usual with irrelevant comments. Do get in line or I'll have to time you out as well. I'm in the mood for some timeouts. I just timed out somebody for talking too much about nothing. It's 12:29. Check out the movie Scott of the Antarctic. True but sad story of Scott, who tried to be the first to the South Pole. He was second but died like... Oh no, the South Pole has very high altitude. So the exact South Pole is actually a pretty tough place to be in because it's very high altitude. I love you like Doro and Steven. Thank you. Do they need tech support or tailors in Antarctica? They definitely need tech support. I'm not sure about tailors. I watched the movie Contact Stoned and it blew my mind. Okay, I still haven't seen Contact. So you technically know how to read people and their behavior. I only took a few classes. I don't know if I really know how to read people and their behavior. I took a few classes and it really educated me on certain sort of like... So the classes I took were like abnormal psychology. So I learned a lot more about certain like sort of, I guess, disorders that I wasn't really familiar with at all. And understanding why some people have OCD and like how OCD also means that you might have major depressive disorders. So it kind of helped me out with certain people that I know in my life. Also a lot of like more sort of rarer conditions and things like that. So it was interesting for that. Then I also took a class called Human Sexuality, and it was very good like education on that particular topic because I'm from India, so we never had a class like that at any point, you know, so in school that is. So I didn't, you know, it was good for my basic as well as more deeper education on the whole reproductive system, blah 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 type of thing. Interstellar is probably my favorite movie of all time, and like the psychology that goes with all that. Then I also took social psychology. Yeah, I took a few psychology classes. Like I probably I might have taken like 4 or 5. Interstellar is probably my favorite movie of all time. I love the music of Interstellar. Dong, dong. I just like don't know how to like hum it really, but I love the music of Interstellar. Basket of Minks was asking something. Do they need tech support? I saw that. What's the genre? I wish I could forget it and watch it again. You should. Follows a British explorer who's beaten to the South Pole only to die on the way back to base. I don't know the genre. Oh my gosh. It's taboo in my class. Or sorry, it's taboo in my culture. I read the next comment. Can't read it, but okay. Are you introvert or extrovert? I prefer the original movie Contact with Jodie Foster. I don't know Contact. I still haven't seen it, although I've been recommended it. So introvert or extrovert, I don't know. I think I'm an introvert because I do like my me time a lot. I have to sort of recharge and I think sort of heal in my own energy, especially like when I meet people and they, especially if they bring sort of negativity or unhealed energies towards me. Then I really need to like be by myself in my own energies, just kind of doing my thing and having a lot more me time. Pretty much whenever I have to like process something, or if there's a lot that I'm thinking about, I have to have a lot of me time. So in those periods, I think of myself as an introvert, but I do like to go outside and meet people as well, and go to like social gatherings and sort of like parties, like dinner parties or birthday parties. I had a birthday party on the weekend. It was a friend's daughter's birthday, and it was really nice. I had friends there who then helped me to get ready. Like they did not, I guess they didn't like what I was wearing. So they made me change into some other things, and they gave me like accessories and whatnot. So this daughter's, she was like one. So it was like their first birthday. And then these people, my friends, kind of treated me like I'm one or two or three. So I don't know what to think of this controlling behavior of my friends, but they, quote unquote, helped me a lot and took care of me a lot. Dom Icky says, stand up. I'm not going to stand up. I'm sat down, my love. You will enjoy me sitting down, and you will say more productive things than that. Ray says, is your hair real? I mean, yes, I think so. Now you're making me question whether my hair is real. It's kind of like going through the TSA line where they're like, do you have this? Do you have that? And then you're like, do I have this? Am I real? Like somebody was asking if I'm a robot. I'm like, am I? Is my hair real? Is it? Evil eye remove. Evil eye. Evil eye remove. Can we get 20 likes, please? Thank you so much. Antisocial means a violent person. You might be thinking asocial. I prefer antisocial. Oh, not social. Would you say you're an extrovert or introvert? I think I'm an introvert is what I've been trying to explain, but I also do like going outside and meeting people sometimes and being in social gatherings sometimes, maybe like on a weekly basis or something, maybe a couple times a week, two or three times a week. It doesn't have to be every day. I do like to be outgoing and mix with people and be in a social gathering. So maybe I'm an extrovert, and I do well at social gatherings. Like I can talk a lot and chat a lot and bring a high vibration. So maybe I'm an outgoing introvert, or maybe I'm an extrovert. But at the same time, when I have to rest and recover, I do like to do that mostly alone. Need your review for my music in my channel. Okay, do share your music. You can leave a comment on any of my videos with your music link or channel or something, and just give me a reminder about that, Dom Iki. Dom, if you want your music to be reviewed, then please do. Send me or leave me a comment on one of my videos. I am better able to find your channel that way. Same, I'm social, but get irritable with too many people. I think I can do a lot of people because I'm not necessarily talking with everybody all at once. So if there's like a group of people that I'm with in a bigger party and I just kind of hang out with my group of people, then I'm very happy. I don't mind the presence of a lot of people. Like, because I'm not necessarily talking to a lot of people. I generally am just kind of chilling with the small group of people that I'm attending with, or maybe I'll meet. You know, sometimes I go to a party and I don't know anybody there. So I'll make some new friends, 2 or 3, 4 or 5 friends, and we will make a small group out of the bigger group, and I will get to know them more deeply and kind of chat with them at length. I feel like chatting at length and having a deeper conversation will fill my social battery, will recharge my social battery, whereas if it's a lot of small talk, then that is kind of irritating for me too. I don't really want to just have a lot of small talk. That is kind of hard. Yeah. Yes. You might be stuck in a fight or flight mode, Steven. One problem for me is I do not like being in a room with a lot of people unless there's an exit close by so I can get out quickly. Oh. I like low-key chill parties. I don't like huge events. Dom Icky says Song Icky. Hello, Dom Icky and Song Icky. You might be stuck in a fight. So yeah, it sounds like some sort of anxiety about maybe claustrophobia or being near a lot of people. I can understand. Different people, you know, have different sort of fears and such. So whatever works for you at whatever pace you want. If you could be one of the first people to go to Mars but never come back, would you do it? No. I can talk with people but don't like parties too much, but will not fight with people. I've sat in an office with more than a dozen people but was in one corner. I'm not claustrophobic. I see. But will not fight with people. I've sat in an office with more than a dozen people but was in one corner. I see. I mean, I think that's just introverted, and why people are introverts, there could be different reasons for different people. So whatever works for you, Steven, we like you. Ray says, can you say my name? I am saying your name, Ray. If you could be one of the first people. So for that question, so I appreciate the efforts of people going to Mars and the overall efforts that we have going on in researching Mars and understanding more about Mars. And we have actually read about Mars to some extent on this channel. And we have even shared certain very fun facts about Mars, such as its seasons and its general sort of similarities with Earth and its rock and its surface and things like that. Of course, Mars has a longer year than us, and it's quite a bit farther than the sun than us, and quite a bit farther away from the sun than us, and it's kind of far from us as well compared to, say, Venus. So it would take longer to go to Mars. So it's not like we can commute back and forth very easily until the technologies for that is like way more. And overall, there are challenges, right? So I think as much as Mars is a little bit similar in some ways, we actually saw that the tilt of its axis is very similar to our tilt, which means that it has similar kind of seasons than us. But of course, its seasons, the lengths are longer because it has an overall longer year. So I find these particular sort of similarities of Mars with Earth to be very fascinating, intriguing, and interesting. But at the same time, I appreciate that Earth is much, 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 much more comfortable. And I would not want to go to Mars and never return to our home planet, the Earth, because I really don't want to take Earth for granted. I know for a fact that Mars is going to be really tough. And I mean, I've been to Antarctica. There's no trees there, right? So Antarctica is a little bit like closest to Mars as can be. I mean, it's not, Mars doesn't have as much or any ice. Actually, no, that's not true. There is some ice in the atmosphere and the polar regions of Mars. But as far as mostly it's, you know, obviously not the same exact thing as Antarctica, but I think it comes closest. So when I was in Antarctica, I think what I did not like about it, this is something I don't share too much, is this feeling of a little bit like feeling like I can't leave. It's a very beautiful place, a very beautiful continent. It's a desert, it's an ice desert, it doesn't rain, there's no trees, you know. But that wasn't what really bothered me, the 24/7 sunlight. You know, some people can't sleep when you have 24/7 sun. So there were people on my team who had to go home because they just couldn't handle the 24/7 sun, and it's like affecting their sleep and everything. But for me, that wasn't it. I was very excited for the opportunity, and I was very excited to be working there. And it was quite amazing as far as an adventure goes. Like, I mean, can you really beat it? But what I did not like is I felt like I didn't have control over when I can go home and be with my children again. And at that time, I just had the one child who was a cat. And I just really missed him. And I was like, I just want to go home, but it would help to know when I can go so I can like look forward to it. And I didn't have an off ice date. So I just didn't know. It was just very uncertain when I could get back. And I feel like the same thing is going to happen in Mars. Like, I'll go there, and even if they tell me I can go back, there's probably going to be a lot. So, like, depending on where you're going, the logistics is just harder. Like, they can't give you an off-ice date because there's a lot of difficult logistics. Like, the flights that go back and forth between New Zealand, the military flights that go back and forth between New Zealand and Antarctica, where we were, those are running missions as well on a daily basis. And if you getting off the ice is not a very high priority mission, then you're not going to be on the list of people who get to leave the continent that day or any of the days that are coming up. So you're going to be kind of like stuck as long as, you know, you're not on that mission for going back. So the same thing, I'm sure, absolutely, 100,000%, to a larger degree, will happen if I went to, say, the moon or Venus or Mars. I mean, Venus is not very habitable because of its poisonous atmosphere, but say if it was. Because coming back or making trips to and from these places is hard, I'll just be stuck there. So even if even if they gave me an off Mars date, like they didn't even give me an off ice date, and I am sure that the Mars off date would be changing all the time, and the whole time you're in a very inhospitable environment, by the way. It doesn't feel like home, right? So I just don't think I'd want to do that. Like, I might do it for the adventure, but I would not, because Mars is so far, I don't think I'd be very interested in going, unfortunately. I think this is where my adventure has limits, you know? I like adventure, but to what extent? I think Mars is too much for me, to be honest. Do you think there is some sort of life on Mars or anywhere? So there might have been life in the past, because Mars does have some evidence of erosion by liquid water. So because there is some evidence of erosion with liquid water or flowing water, there may very well have been some life on Mars in the past, and it could be life like, it could be something not so interesting type of life, you know. Not every life has to be human beings or cats or dogs. It could be some sort of like simpler life form, like amoeba, bacteria, that type of thing. So very well could have been a thing on Mars in the past. I'm not sure about life right now though. I get along with people, went to Walmart today after my appointment and chatted with some friends. Oh no, Steven. Thank you for sharing, and we will not be hurting you. El Challen says, I heard there's some twin Earth light years away from us. You mean like a planet that is the same size as Earth? I don't know. Feel free to share more. I guess no one remembers the meteor they found in Antarctica that supposedly had a fossil in the rock. Were there any cats in Antarctica? No. And even if they were, even if there were, they would not be my kids who are cats. So I really missed that. I need cats. But I think I just like wanted to come back to my family, and mainly my son who is a cat. So I just wanted to be able to count down to the day I would be off ice again, and I couldn't do it because I didn't know when I could go home. And that was probably my least favorite part of Antarctica. I'll be honest. I wish I had an off ice date so that I could have enjoyed my time there more, because it was beautiful. Not gonna lie. Like the white, the ice and that like mostly ice look, and snow ice, it's like 99% ice is the continent, right? The rock part is very small. All of the rock in Antarctica is from volcanoes. There's active volcanoes. There's like an active volcano that we worked near that you can just see, because Antarctica you can see farther away because it's such a clear, atmosphere there, the clear environment, cleaner environment. And it was so pretty. It was so pretty. I'm not gonna lie. Antarctica might be the prettiest place on Earth. So I wish I could have enjoyed it more when I was there. But they didn't give me an off ice date. And so I was like, when do I go home? Prison mode. I think it's a 9-month journey to Mars. Yeah, so going to Mars is going to take close to a year. 9 months, a year is what I thought, but like maybe it's 9 months now. I heard going to Mars is an S mission. S mission? What is that? I consider the people like yourself I call friends. Aw, thank you. Thank you so much. So, yeah, I kind of just like, yeah, I would, if I were to go back and I had more seniority, I think I would have an off ice date or have some sort of like idea about my off ice date, and I might do it. So by the way, Antarctica, I'm willing to go back. If I get a job or like a season job only in Antarctica, I would go back. Honestly, there's a saying in Antarctica where they say if you come once, you're there for the adventure. If you come twice, it's because you liked it. And if you come a third time, it's because you don't belong anywhere else. So that's the Antarctica culture. I want an all-white cat. Ooh, so sweet. Mr. Ayub says, OMG, it's me, Mr. Ayub. Hi. I've had 2 white cats. I'm walking now. Hello, Mr. Ayub. Because you're an aspiring Bond villain. Who, me? I don't know, maybe. I don't think I'm a villain. Mr. Ayub says, my legs are okay, and oh, wow. Congratulations, Mr. Ayub. Your legs are a lot better now? That's great. I think Mr. Ayub was having some difficulty with his legs, and I'm so glad to hear that they're much, much better now. Thank you for the update. Steven says, I'm Goldfinger. Goldfinger? No, Steven and his white cat. I'm running. Wow. Kya baat hai? That's amazing, my friend. That's amazing. Bond villain. Who? Also, I'm with girls. You mean your daughters? Oh, party ones. I see. Okay. All right. Now, on that note, we will do a little bit of well, Mr. Ayub, you might want to hold off on these less than ideal comments because you're going to be censored. Don't make me put you on timeout. I thought we were friends. Behave. Good. Good. Keep it zipped. Good. Everything inside. Hands where I can see them. Got it? And now sit down and start class. And maybe stop chatting because I want to see the other people's comments too. I was getting good questions about my work and Antarctica, and I was very much more preferring that. And congratulations about your legs that I thought were not working. Do not take advantage of my empathy. Do not. I have been exploited enough for my empath vibes. Gosh. Then I think Steven says, I consider people like yourself my friends. Then I think you have to stay on Mars a year. That's what I don't like, Steven. I think what I like is shorter trips. Like I want to see the whole world. I want to be able to travel and see everything there is to see and explore a lot. But I don't want to be there forever. I don't want to be away from home forever exploring. I want to do short trips, check, short trip, check, get it done, get a vibe, get an idea for the place, come home, rest, relax, recover, rejuvenate, do my work, do my usual regular life. Then another trip, short trip again, see everything, get a vibe, get the, like I do when I travel, I do want to see enough of the area and get a feeling for like, what is it like to live there? What is it like every day? What's the view? And, what are the special things about that place? Or even just the ordinary things about the place. So I like to be able to explore different areas and different regions and then come home and then be at home and then go again, sort of like a part-time explorer. But what I don't like is being stuck in a place for too long, which would be the case if I went to Antarctica without an off-ice date, or if I went to Mars. I don't think they would let you come back. So, yeah. Okay. And that's really the problem. If I could somehow go to Mars, spend a couple of days and come back, like I will tough it out. Like the thing is, it's not the challenges of being there for a few days that I would mind. Like I will go out of my way to face many, many challenges if I had to go to Mars for like a week or 2 weeks and just get it done and come back. I think 2 weeks is enough for me on Mars. Like, because Mars is not even that big. It's much smaller than Earth. So I would just like explore Mars in a couple of weeks and want to come back. If they're saying I have to stay there for a whole year, then I am not interested. I'm the one who misbehaves and sits in the corner. Steven, you are hardly a misbehavior. You're a good guy. Ray says, okay, whatever that means. Thank you so much. Can you please like the live? Mr. Ayub, can you make yourself more useful than not useful at all and like the live? And can you do a super chat? How about $500 for misbehaving and then sitting the frick down? Basket of Mink says, ever do, where are my mods? Usually they're the ones who's like saying these things and now I have to. Basket of Minks is, ever do deep sea experiments? Is that a thing? Of course, it's a thing. I mean, of course too, is it a thing, but have I done it? No. I don't know very much about the sea at all. It's one of those things. By the way, this is a very good question because you know how we want to explore the other planets and find other worlds and exoplanets and things like that, which is lovely, and I very much support all of those endeavors. But let me just say that on Earth, if you're trying to explore a completely unknown world, we have one here under the ocean. So the ocean is really quite full of mysteries and all these unknown and unanswered questions. And the surface of the Earth is mostly ocean, so we really have not found everything or know everything there is to know. So actually, if you're interested, I would very much encourage doing undersea type of stuff, but I personally have not, and I don't know what what that looks like too much. Well, I have some idea because of my work and other colleagues who have worked on things, but like undersea experiments, but I haven't personally done it. They call a Mars day a Sol. They call a Mars day a Sol. Bro thinks Mars is small. It's smaller than Earth by a lot. Martian year is 366 sols. Space has, where is that comment? I lost something. She's really nice. Oh, thank you, El Challen. Space has no guarantee of cephalopods either. We've explored more of our moon's surface than we've explored the deep sea of our planet. Honestly, that might be true. I'm not sure. But yeah, like the deep sea here on Earth is extremely unexplored, extremely uncharted. So if somebody's interested, go for it. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of reading now before bed. I extremely enjoyed everybody's comments and chat messages that kept everything really engaged and busy during this live. But thank you all so very much. We'll do a little bit of reading now from the book A Brief History of Time. See? A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking. So, well, don't say goodnight yet. I'm still here. I think we've explored like less than 1% of the deep sea. You are right, Stephen. The more, like all the talks that I've ever been to, which had to do with undersea, deep sea, whatever, everything is always about like, we don't know this and we don't know that. Like it's all sonar and people doing like machine learning for ocean sounds and stuff. And like I will say though that people remarkably understand whale sounds really well. So I've seen like machine learning models that talk about whale sounds and how they've been categorized and whatnot. And that's what they use to like, find other things and figure out like what those other things are or not. I mean, some of this has applications in defense as well. That's sort of where I came across it. But it's very interesting. And what I understood is that we don't know a lot about the sea and deep sea. So I think it's because it's very difficult. You know that you know the what do you call the thing I was saying about being stuck somewhere? I think deep sea is a little bit like that, where maybe people don't want to necessarily research it too much. They might be stuck in the deep sea, whether that's really figuratively or metaphorically, literally or figuratively. I understand whale sounds really well. Heard your mama talk the other day. Okay, Ray, if you're gonna be like that, I saw a video like a year or two ago. They found a shipwreck like 7,000 meters down in the Pacific Ocean. Really? Just kidding. Good. I saw a video like a year or two ago. They found a shipwreck. Really? I kind of like shipwreck stories. Not that I want any ships to be wrecked, but I kind of like shipwreck stories, to be honest. Tell me more, Steven. Good night. It was great chatting with you again on YouTube community. Thank you, El Challen. Good night to you and have a good day tomorrow. Be careful. What are you working on tomorrow, El Challen? Take care. Be careful. Don't get into any troubles. And I'll see you tomorrow. All right. We're going to talk about the Einstein-Rosen bridge now, which is one of the first, if not the first, mention of wormholes in publication history. Also, I should mention that Alice in Wonderland basically talks about wormholes. So if you have read that novel and want to go back and revisit this, then this is a great reminder for that. So let's see. In 1935, Einstein and Nathan Rosen, so Nathan Rosen was one of his students, Einstein's students, And they together worked on actually this thing called Einstein-Rosen bridge, which is sort of like this first mention of wormhole type things. We'll see. We'll see what Stephen Hawking has to say about this in this book, A Brief History of Time. We're on page 164, A Brief History of Time, and the chapter name is Wormholes and Time Travel. We read about this a little bit already, remember, from my Boston Common Live, but we will take a little bit more of a look tonight here before bed. It was lost in 1944 near the Philippines, and they have pics of the wreck too. Underwater photography. Same as usual, irritating lines, selling water to ranchers and driving around the fields, making sure ranchers don't rip us off. Same as usual, irritating lines, selling water to ranchers. Oh, is this, I forget, are you in Texas? Aren't you in Texas, El Chalin? Is it gonna be hot? Okay, I'll keep reading while you, irrigation. Oh, wait, remind me, are you in Texas or is this Nevada? Okay. Good job, El Chalin. Thank you so much for working on irrigation. That sounds very important. In 1935, Einstein and Nathan Rosen wrote a paper. Yeah, it's humid. Wrote a paper in which they showed that general relativity allowed what they called bridges. Now, just because general relativity allows for something doesn't mean that that thing actually exists or anything like that. But I will point out that general relativity also allowed for and predicted black holes, and people thought that these things could not be real, and they were indeed not very having faith on whether black holes were real, but indeed black holes are real. So general relativity has made predictions that have often come true, and it's been always very exciting, very thrilling, breaking news whenever such a thing has happened. So keep in mind about various predictions of general relativity. I would say black holes is one of them. And we have seen black holes. We know that they are actually truly things that exist in nature naturally, like actual things. Also remember that general relativity predicted gravitational waves, and these have now, almost 100 years after they were actually predicted by Einstein, have also been measured now by gravitational waves measuring experiments such as LIGO. So we will see what the author has to say about wormholes, but this is another thing that general relativity allows for. So allowed what they called bridges. Now, they didn't call it necessarily wormhole, but basically this paper that Einstein wrote with his student Nathan Rosen, they called it, or maybe the publication called it, Einstein-Rosen bridge. But that's basically the sort of the first literature or first mention of wormholes in literature that we know of, or it holds some significance in this particular category of topics. Okay, so if you're interested in learning further about wormholes, this might be something that you look up, for example, is why I'm kind of mentioning it. Okay, so Einstein and Nathan Rosen wrote a paper in which they showed that general relativity, what they called bridges, allowed for what they called bridges. Einstein-Rosen bridge is that name, but which are now known as wormholes. So back then when they published, they just called it Einstein-Rosen bridge, but now we call them wormholes. The Einstein-Rosen bridges didn't last long enough for a spaceship to get through. The ship would run into a singularity as the wormhole pinched off. However, it has been suggested that it might be possible for an advanced civilization to keep a wormhole open. So, whether or not wormholes are real or not, there are some logistical challenges, let's say, with wormholes that make them kind of technologically difficult for us to access and actually use and whatnot to do time travel, etc., which makes us think that this is not a very practical aspiration for us to have and really sort of pursue. But if technology were to get a lot better, then maybe. So again, it has been suggested that it might be possible for an advanced civilization to keep a wormhole open because it may just like close. To do this or to warp space-time in any other way so as to permit time travel, one can show that one needs a region of space-time with negative curvature. So just like, space-time is bent with gravitation, we know that. But basically, if you want this sort of time travel thing to happen, then you need space-time to have negative curvature, like the surface of a saddle. Ordinary matter, which has a positive energy density, gives space-time a positive curvature. So ordinary matter, interacting with each other with like gravitation, for example, would give you a positive energy density, as in energy density, gravitational field would be attractive and bend space-time in the way that is familiar to us, and it gives space-time a positive curvature like the surface of a sphere. Actually, see how Earth is sort of a sphere? It's kind of like that. Think about it that way. The Earth is mainly made up of ordinary matter, and the gravitation of the Earth kind of gives it that sphere look, right? So it's sort of like that. So what one needs in order to warp space-time in a way that will allow travel into the past is matter with negative energy density. Energy is a bit like money, says Stephen Hawking. If you have a positive balance, you can distribute it in various ways. But according to the classical laws that were believed at the beginning of the century, you weren't allowed to be overdrawn. Ray asked, are white holes allowed? Do you mean like white dwarfs and neutron stars? If that's the type of thing you mean, then yes. There are other deaths possible for stars. Black hole is an example of a stellar remnant. What happens to a star after it dies, a very massive one. And some other options for when a star dies would be white dwarf or neutron star. But these happen for less massive stars. Or do you mean a black hole that is incredibly hot or something like that? We have talked about black holes because of quantum fluctuations, maybe emitting certain particles, giving black holes a temperature. We have actually talked about that from this same book of Stephen Hawking, who worked on this. So you might perhaps tell me what you mean. But either way, thank you for the question. So energy is a bit like money. You weren't allowed to be overdrawn, not in the classical ways anyways. So these classical laws would have ruled out any possibility of time travel. However, as has been described in earlier chapters, the classical laws were superseded by quantum laws based on the uncertainty principle. The quantum laws are more liberal and allow you to be overdrawn on one or two accounts, provided that the total balance is positive for energy, that is. In other words, quantum theory allows the energy density to be negative in some places, provided that this is made up for by positive energy densities in other places, so that the total energy remains positive. Oh no, Stephen. Okay, yes, you please do get rest. I'll see you tomorrow. Sorry about that. See you tomorrow. Good night. An example of how quantum theory can allow negative energy densities is provided by what is called the Casimir effect. So this is spelled as C-A-S-I-M-I-R. Casimir effect. C-A-S-I-M-I-R. So once again, this is an example of how quantum theory can allow negative energy densities. So we want the total energy density to be positive, but maybe in some spots we can have negative energy density overall, with the overall requirement that the overall should be positive. Even though classically we don't like negative energy densities, just like we don't like overdrawn bank accounts. Okay? So you can see the rest of the live tomorrow, Stephen. You can just skip to this part and look at the video tomorrow that gets posted from the live stream. Good night, friends. Behave, everyone. I will never behave at all. Good night, my friend. Have a good night. See you tomorrow. As we saw in chapter 7, so we've covered chapter 7 earlier, but let's see what he says here. Even what we think of as an empty space is filled with pairs of virtual particles and antiparticles that appear together, move apart, and come back together and annihilate each other. So empty space can actually be quite unempty in the sense of having all these types of pair particles or antiparticles, etc. Especially if you have a particle and an antiparticle kind of annihilating with each other. It may look empty, but indeed there's a lot of quantum things that are happening in that empty space sometimes. Now, suppose one has two parallel metal plates a short distance apart. So this is actually the example. I believe what we're about to get into is sort of what we kind of touched upon earlier. Doro, shut up. You're late and now you're driving away my audience. I've had to do all of the moderation myself. There were all kinds of weird people saying weird things and I had to take care of them all on my own. But thank you for being here. Welcome to the live. Have a good night to you if you're leaving, but don't drive my audience away. I need to do a little bit of reading. Yes. How are you? How's everything going? Dora Madness. How are you? Okay. So now we're going to get into this example of the parallel metal plates, which we have actually mentioned a long time ago. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a review if you've been there. Wild and busy over here. Hope you're great, Owens. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. So the plates will act like mirrors for the virtual photons or particles of light. In fact, they will form a cavity between them. So by the way, I think that this example might be something that Kip Thorne thought about. We will see if Stephen Hawking gives him any credit. But maybe I'm not thinking of it correctly, but we have mentioned something like this before. This means, so in fact, they will form a cavity between them, the parallel plates, a bit like an organ pipe that will resonate only at certain notes. Thank you. Thank you for liking the live. This means that virtual photons can occur in the space between the plates only if their wavelengths, the distance between the crest of one wave and the next, fit a whole number of times into the gap between the plates. If the width of a cavity is a whole number of wavelengths plus a fraction of a wavelength, then after some reflections backward and forward between the plates, the crests of one wave will coincide with the troughs of another and the waves will cancel out. So this is how waves can cancel out if the troughs are lined up with the crests. But if you have crests, instead, then they would add up on top of each other, I mean. Good stuff, Stephen. Under what name? It's just his name, Stephen Spears, with I think an extra S in between. Is that right, Stephen? Or no, it's a T. It's Stephen T. Spears on Instagram. Stephen, your middle name was with a T, right? Thank you. Gonna support Steven, my friend. Thank you for liking the live. Okay, so anyway, you gotta make sure that between these plates that the things don't get canceled with each other. Okay, if the width of a cavity is a whole number of wavelengths plus a fraction of a wavelength, then after some reflections backward and forward between the plates, the crests of one wave will coincide with the troughs of another and they will cancel each other out. Because the virtual photons between the plates can only have the resonant wavelengths, there will be slightly fewer of them than in the region outside the plates where virtual photons can have any wavelength. Thus, there will be slightly fewer virtual photons hitting the inside surfaces of the plates than the outside surfaces. One would therefore expect a force on the plates pushing them toward each other. This force has actually been detected and has the predicted value. Stephen, are you a public account or private? He might have you you might need to request to follow or something. Steven, is your account public or private? I'm being so pushy about his Instagram. Gosh. I hate when people do this to me, by the way. Like I need a push now and then. But I hate when people are on my case too much. But I kind of like being a supporter for Steven. Steven, you make it public since you're gonna be a famous author. Good job. I'm not here as much, but I still stand by my words. I want Steven's books. Oh, good. I'm glad everybody is here for each other. There's been lots of chatter in the chat, and people have... Oh, hello. Hi, Solidus. I just finished the Brian Cox interview and found this. Thank you. We're talking about time travel right now with the metal plates. Referencing A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking. Thank you so much. You're in the right place, Solidus. So people have... We met a lot of new people today in the live, and they all became friends with each other and talked about certain other topics too that were relevant. I mean, there were some irrelevant remarks as well, as usual, but it was a good, engaging one. Batman, stop it. Solidus, ask any questions you have or any thoughts you want to share. And don't feel like you are not welcome because everybody else is being weird. Depending on when you join, that may happen. But right now, there are some good people. Mostly good. They can be a little shady. The party came in with me. That's true. As soon as you're... Batman, I'm warning you. Thank you so much, Solidus. Let me... Thanks, I love this kind of discussion. Thank you. So, we talked about the parallel plates in the past, but... we're kind of looking at it again. So because the virtual photons between the plates can have only the resonant wavelengths, because remember, if you're out of resonance, then you will ultimately cancel each other out, the waves that is. So there will be slightly fewer of them than in the region outside the plates where virtual photons can have any wavelength. So inside of the plates, or within the two plates, inside of the two plates, some of the wavelengths will get canceled out. So some of those virtual photons will sort of cease to be, if you will. I'm busy working tonight, but I will try to chime in whenever I can. Oh, thank you. Just enjoy the audio in the background. No worries at all. Don't tell him to stop working. Poor man or woman has to work. Go ahead and work and just to play this in the background. No worries. Spear Stephen T. Stephen? Okay. Why'd you put your Spears thing first? Okay. So let us enjoy in the background. So once again, because the virtual photons between the plates can only have resonant wavelengths, as in when the crests will match crests and the troughs will match troughs, there will be slightly fewer of them than in the region outside the plates where virtual photons can have any wavelength. Thus, there will be slightly fewer virtual photons hitting the inside surfaces of the plates than the outside surfaces. One would therefore expect a force on the plates pushing them toward each other. So like it's almost like when you have negative atmospheric pressure, like you know how if you have a plastic bottle and if there's a little bit of a vacuum inside the bottle, you know how the atmosphere presses on it, pushes down on it. So same thing, one would therefore expect a force on the plates pushing them toward each other. This force has actually been detected and has the predicted value. Good. Thus, we have experimental evidence that virtual particles exist and have real effects. So this is all a reality. Virtual particles do exist. These types of quantum effects, if you will, are not only just a thing in your brain, it's actually tried and tested. So this is the great success of quantum mechanics, if you will, where sometimes quantum mechanics will have bizarre predictions and bizarre things that are the outcomes of quantum mechanics, but fortunately or unfortunately, well, unfortunately for the haters of quantum mechanics, they are tried and tested. The success of quantum mechanics experimentally is exactly why quantum mechanics continues to thrive. Remember this. There are people who don't like quantum mechanics, but they still have to be quiet and accept it because it has been tested and there are experimental successes. I wanted to mention that while we talk about these virtual particles. Share your drawing, yes. The fact that there are fewer virtual photons between the plates means that their energy density will be less than elsewhere. What? Okay, the fact that there are fewer virtual photons between the plates means that their energy density will be less than elsewhere. But the total energy density in empty space far away from the plates must be zero, because otherwise the energy density would warp the space and it would not be almost flat. So if the energy density between the plates is less than the energy density far away, it must be negative. So if the energy density between the plates is less than the energy density far away, it must be negative. Because overall, the energy density, the total energy density in empty space far away from the plates must be zero. So if it's something else in between the plates and far away, it's zero, then in the between the plates, it must be negative. Isn't that so crazy? So again, far away, because this thing is an empty space and virtual particles are part of empty space, far away, it's going to be zero energy density total. But what that means is that inside of the energy, inside of the metal plates, it's going to be negative, which is pretty cool. We talked about how energy densities are generally not considered to be negative in classical theories, because it's kind of like an overdrawn account in banks and money analogy. But in quantum, you can get energy densities that are negative. We thus have experimental evidence both that space-time can be warped from the bending of light during eclipses, and that it can be curved in the way necessary to allow time travel from the Casimir effect. So we already know that space-time can be warped. Space-time can be warped because of gravitation, and that it can be curved in the way necessary to allow time travel, so negative energy density. You guys don't leave the live because it's showing that everybody's leaving when you go and do other things, I think. But, up to you. So we thus have experimental evidence both that space-time can be warped from the bending of light during eclipses and that it can be curved in the way necessary to allow time travel from the Casimir effect. One might hope, therefore, that as we advance in science and technology, we would eventually manage to build a time machine, because we can do this sort of thing in those metal plates. I play in the background. I have YouTube Premium. Oh, nice. Hello, Doro. Good luck, Steven. Thank you for liking the live. Thank you so much for liking the live. Can we get 20 likes? So, but if so, why hasn't anyone come back from the future and told us how to do it? So time travel, right? There might be good reasons why it would be unwise to give us the secret of time travel at our present primitive state of development. But unless human nature changes radically, it is difficult to believe that some visitor from the future would not spill the beans. As in, we might, if somebody were to truly know this, they might not be able to hold themselves back. Yes, please. Can we get 20 likes? Thank you so much. Casimir effect is Casimir. Casimir effect. Okay, so of course, some people would claim that sightings of UFOs are evidence that we are being visited either by aliens or by people from the future. If the aliens were to get here in reasonable time, they would need faster than light travel. So the two possibilities may be equivalent. So sometimes if there is, thank you so much for the likes, the hearts. If there is sort of an alien visit, for example, and we don't expect aliens to really be able to traverse a lot of space and time to then come and visit us. So it might be that they time traveled to us if we were to get alien visits, right? It would be really difficult to go across the universe because these are very large distances that you would not expect to be able to traverse in finite times unless you're going faster than the speed of light, which we don't expect anybody to or anything to, because the speed of light in vacuum is a constant and we don't think that anything travels faster than that speed. But time travel and wormholes would be a way for us to get little visits from aliens if that was a thing that they could utilize. So, however, I think that any visit by aliens or people from the future would be much more obvious and probably much more unpleasant. If they're going to reveal themselves at all, why do so only to those who are not regarded as reliable witnesses? Thank you. If they're trying to warn us of some great danger, they're not being very effective, is what Stephen Hawking says about these people, if they were to visit us. A possible way to explain the absence of visitors from the future. So one thing that they're kind of, that he's kind of pointing out is that if time travel and wormholes were a thing, then why don't we have visitors from the future? I mean, in the movies we do, right? In the movies we see people going like Back to the Future, all that stuff. But why not in real life? Like, why haven't we come across somebody who claims to be from the future? If we have figured that out as a civilization, then wouldn't we get visits from the future at this point? So, anyways, a possible way to explain the absence of visitors from the future would be to say that the past is fixed because we have observed it and seen that it does not have the kind of warping needed to allow travel back from the future. On the other hand, the future is unknown and open, so it might well have the curvature required. Thank you for liking the live. This would mean that any time travel would be confined to the future. There would be no chance of Captain Kirk and the Starship Enterprise turning up at the present time. This might explain why we have not yet been overrun by tourists from the future, but it would not avoid the problems that would arise if one were able to go back and change history. Suppose, for example, you went back and killed your great-great-grandfather while he was still a child. Quite violent. There are many versions of this paradox, but they are essentially equivalent. One would get contradictions if one were free to change the past. I mean, have you guys seen the play Harry Potter and the Cursed Child? There is some of this going on in that play, and I watched it in London, and it was quite nice. And how they showed all of this was I was like wondering how they would do this in theater, in a play on stage, but they did a very good job, and I was very into it and interested. Dora says, good night. Good night. I gotta hit the hey, so the goats. Thank you. Thank you, Doro. Thank you and good night. So there seem to be two possible resolutions to the paradoxes posed by time travel. One I shall call the consistent histories approach. It says that even if space-time is warped so that it would be possible to travel into the past, what happens in space-time must be a consistent solution of the laws of physics. According to this viewpoint, you could not go back in time unless history showed that you had already arrived in the past and while there had not killed your great-great-grandfather or committed any other acts that would conflict with your current situation in the present. Moreover, when you did go back, you wouldn't be able to change recorded history. That means you wouldn't have free will to do what you wanted. Of course, one could say that free will is an illusion anyway. Maybe. If there really is a complete unified theory that governs everything, it presumably also determines your actions, but it does so in a way that is impossible to calculate for an organism that is as complicated as a human being. The reason we say that humans have free will is because we can't predict what they will do. However, if the human then goes off in a rocket ship and comes back before he or she set off, we will be able to predict what he or she will do because it will be part of recorded history. Thus, in that situation, the time traveler would have no free will. The other possible way to resolve the paradoxes of time travel might be called the alternative histories paradox. Alternative histories hypothesis. The idea here is that when time travelers go back to the past, they enter alternative histories which differ from recorded history. Thus, they can act freely without the constraint of consistency with their previous history. So they have to go kind of in the past. Steven Spielberg had fun with this notion in the Back to the Future films. Marty McFly was able to go back and change his parents' courtship to a more satisfactory history. Thank you. Can we get 20 likes? The alternative histories hypothesis sounds rather like Richard Feynman's way of expressing quantum theory as a sum over histories, which was described in chapters 4 and 8. So we talked about this with the Feynman stuff. Not in a lot of detail though, but we touched upon it. This said that the universe didn't just have a single history. Rather, it had every possible history, each with its own probability. However, there seems to be an important difference between Feynman's proposal and alternative histories. In Feynman's sum, each history comprises a complete spacetime and everything in it. The spacetime may be so warped that it is possible to travel in a rocket into the past, but the rocket would remain in the same spacetime and therefore the same history, which would have to be consistent. Thus, Feynman's sum over histories proposal seems to support the consistent histories hypothesis rather than the alternative histories. Okay, we will actually finish this up tomorrow night. Thank you everybody so much for being here. Sip of this water. I will turn the camera and show you the book that we're using. And then I will say bye to you. Thank you so much for all the likes tonight, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi, Key, if you're coming, then thank you so much for being here as always. Thank you so much for your support, and I look forward to your comments as usual. How is Finland? Tell me something about your country today. I forgot my earrings. I just knocked off an earring and I forgot that I was gonna wear them. Okay, let me turn this and show you the book that we're using. Thank you, Stephen. This is what we've been reading tonight. Stephen, thank you and good luck. Have a good night. I forgot my earrings, but here they are. You can see them. Oh, it got cold. Thank you. Thank you, Batman. Follow us up to my voice. Thank you. Have a good night. Turn some lights off for you guys. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for being here, and see you again tomorrow. Phone is about to die. And thank you for joining the live. Hopefully you're having sweet dreams and a good night.